Hey YouTube, this is Bill. So this video entitled, so what exactly at this time is the best battery portable PA on the market? Now there is something coming out that I'm kind of excited about. It's called the Maui Go. It's not out yet, so that's going to be in the running. But I own these three. I've tested them considerably. So on the left, we have the JBL Compact. In the middle, we have the LD Maui5 Go. This is the first time I'm introducing this on YouTube. And of course, we have our reigning champion, the Bose S1Pro, that I've done numerous tests about. Okay, so all these speakers have to be battery powered. That's the requirement. They all have to be portable and light. They are. And they all have to be able to handle a mid-size crowd, at least up to 50 people, and all of these do. The JBL, I've done that original testing. If you want to go back and see it, it's on YouTube. I'm going to take that out of the running right now. I've had issues about the JBL, about reaching its maximum decibel level without clipping. And I've tried a lot of different ways, and I just can't get the volume I can get from the Bose S1Pro. I get a clipping light at 90 dB, and to me that for a PA is not quite loud enough. It's a great speaker. It's light. It has the battery. It has the best app. It has the best app of all three of them. It has a great EQ. So it has a lot of pluses, but the one factor that the clipping, I'm going to take that out of the running then because of that. So here's our finalists. On the left, we got the LD Maui5 Go. LD is a European company. And on the right, again, our reigning champion, the Bose S1Pro. Some people might be wondering, how come I never tested the LD Maui5 Go on the original video? And the reason is all the speakers I had shown you were one-handed speakers. A speaker you can pick up with one hand and go. Some of them need a pole mount, some of them didn't, but it was a simple setup of just one speaker. The Maui5 Go, if you notice, it has a bottom bass bin and it has 3 columns. The bass bin is very light. It's under 20 pounds, 19 point something pounds. I have to look it up. And then the columns are very light. But the fact that you have columns floating around, you have to buy a special bag that doesn't come with it for the columns. I don't have the bag. So it's kind of a hassle. It's something that slows me up. So between these two, the Bose S1Pro definitely wins on portability because it's one speaker. But you do need a pole where the column speaker, the arrays takes the place of the pole. So basically you still need 2 parts. You need your S1Pro and a pole, and compared to the 3 parts of the Maui5 Go. I've already also made a video of a super light pole that I use with the S1Pro. Again, that fits in the back seat of your car with the S1Pro. You don't need this large speaker stand that I have shown. Okay, if you look on YouTube, you're going to find quite a few videos about the LD Maui5 Go. It's very popular with DJs, and their application is ceremony, and cocktail hour. So again, this is not a speaker to do your main dance party. It has its application that the DJs really like. Of course, it has a great battery that lasts many hours, but so does the S1Pro. It has a unique battery. The bottom column is the battery unit, and you can buy another battery unit and you can just swap it out in less than 5 seconds. Where the S1Pro, you need a screwdriver, you have to take the door off, and then you can swap the battery. So that is a great plus for the LD Maui5 Go. I do have the extra battery. I can show that to you in a little while. The LD Maui5 Go is rated at a much higher volume level. It's rated at 120 dB, and the Bose S1Pro is 103. I have done my testing, and I will do some testing here for you. And I'm going to tell you right now, I got nowhere near 120 dB. So that's a very generous figure they're giving. With the Bose, 103 is more of a true figure. But the Maui5 Go is louder. Again, in some of the testing I've done, and I'm not going to show that to you, you're just going to have to take my word for it. I tested at normal listening volume for music, what kind of signal quality that you get just by listening to hi-fi music. So I usually test at 85 dB, which is fairly reasonable, but not so low. And the S1Pro was definitely the winner. It was more hi-fi, it was smooth. And then when you A-beat it and switched over to the Maui5 Go, it kind of sounded like someone put a bag over it. It kind of got muffled. So that's the trade-off. The S1Pro is more of a higher quality sound, but the Maui5 Go will play louder. So again, this is preference, user preference. All these things are user preference. Some people aren't going to mind the 3 columns that I mentioned. That is a negative in my book about the Maui5 Go. They do make a wonderful bag. All 3 columns fit in a small bag, and then you have your bass bin, which is very light. Talking about weight, the Bose S1Pro, I mentioned on many videos, is the lightest speaker I have found, battery-powered PA, at 15.5 pounds. But the Maui5 Go, the bass bin at 19 something, is very, very reasonable right behind it. Here is that bottom battery column that I mentioned. This is my extra one. See, I still have the full column assembled. And the last one on the bottom is the battery section. So I have a spare one. I have another battery. And again, that could be swapped out very quickly. I do have a spare Bose battery also, actually. But that's, as I mentioned before, takes time to get to it. Here is the speaker pole. I made a video recently about a collapsible speaker pole by Sunburst. And again, if you're interested in super portability with the S1Pro, it's pricey, but there's nothing smaller. Check out that video. Here's the Maui5 Go broken down into its components. Like I mentioned, you got your 1 bass bin, and then you got your 3 columns. The top column on the left is your speakers. The middle column is a spacer, which isn't required, and I'll show that to you in a little while. And your bottom column is the battery that I just mentioned. So again, you're dealing with 3 columns and a bass bin for 4 pieces altogether, or you don't need that middle column, so at least 3 pieces. And again, I don't have the bag, I mentioned that to you, and the reason is I'm not really gigging with this so much, and I have a lot of other bags that I use. But to me, the Bose S1Pro is a little more portable because of 1 speaker and 1 pole. In this configuration, I've taken away the spacer pole. So here I have on the top your speaker column, and the bottom column is the battery unit, and of course the bass bin. So actually, this is the way I usually play this unit, the Maui5 Go, because I don't need that maximum height that you would need to play to project over a large audience. So this would be for more intimate crowd, smaller group. You don't need the 3rd column. Again, the Bose, 1 speaker, 1 pole, that's 2 pieces, and here you got 3 pieces. But it's getting close. It's just to me, if you lose one of these columns, that's game over, right? So you got to be very careful about having all your pieces and secured. To me, again, the Bose are just easier to manage. One of my favorite features of the Maui5 Go that the Bose doesn't have is these very visual battery indicators. So let me show you what that looks like. I just press the button, and right there I got 3 green up to the top, so that's, and the red on the bottom. So when you hit red, that means you're time to charge. Again, you press it, and I got a full battery. So that's really nice. In comparison, the Bose, you have to, when you press the power button, there's a little indicator there that starts blinking, and you have to count the blinks. I never personally use it. There is an app, though, that has your battery percentage, which is very nice. But to me, I just love the fact that the LD Maui5, you can just press that and immediately you can see how you're doing battery-wise. But I do have to mention the app on the Bose S1Pro is wonderful. You can pair two of the Bose S1 Pros wirelessly. I've done videos about that. And you can do firmware update on the app. And unfortunately, on the Maui5 Go, there is no app, zero. It's older technology. Here's your controls on your bass bin on the Maui5 Go. It's well laid out. And I mentioned before, it has a clip light that's very visible, and that's the way I was able to set it for my demo that I'm going to be doing in a little while. And here's my setup on the MP3 player, which I'm using is my phone. I have it about 3 o'clock, and then the main level I have about 2 o'clock. And then I raised the volume on the phone as loud as it can go before that clip light came on. And as soon as I saw red on the clip light, I backed off slightly, and that gave me pretty much my max volume. Okay, one of the greatest advantages of this unit compared to the Bose S1 Pro, and again, this is what the user needs, personal preference. The Maui5 Go has a sub-level, and that's right here. And it's I love the way the clicks, each click is, you can go plus or minus by one click. It's very clear where you're at. Again, on the JBL that I took out of the running, that has a visual, I guess I think it's a high-tech look where when you turn up the volume, the light gets brighter. You have no idea exactly where you're at. So this is your old school volume pots, and like I said, this is very precise. I really like the Maui5 Go in that account. But getting back to the sub really, it's an 8-inch sub. The sub really puts out some low end. If you notice, I have it at about 10 o'clock here. Much louder, it overcomes the column. And where the Bose S1 Pro does have a nice smooth low end to mid-range, but this is just in a different league completely. So if you don't want to carry any kind of little subwoofer with you, which I do recommend with the Bose S1 Pro, and a lot of people are going with the new Sub 1, but there's another 35 pounds to carry. So for the people who need a little kick drum sound, or they play percussive guitar where they hit the side of the guitar with their hand, the Maui5 Go is all you need. You don't need a subwoofer. Of course, adding a subwoofer for backing tracks will take it to the next level. I might do a video about that. But so the sub on this is really a huge difference between this and the Bose S1 Pro. I said I didn't have the bags for the Maui5 Go, and that's true. But then I said to myself, gee, I do have my Bose L1 Model 2 bass bag, where the bass unit went into. I said, I'd give that a try. And sure enough, it fits like a glove. Look at that. 3 columns fit perfectly into that Bose bag. So you have your bass bin and one bag. Now, the bag with those columns isn't so light, but then again, it's a nice heavy duty bag. But would you rather have that little S1 Pro and that, believe it or not, there's a speaker stand in that little shoulder bag next to it. Again, I'm mentioning portability because one of the big factors of this video is portable PA, battery portable PA. Here it is all zipped up. Give you an idea what it looks like on the outside. So if anybody has the previous Bose L1 Model 2, you can use that bag if you're interested in the Maui5 Go. Another thing I didn't mention about the Maui5 Go, again, mainly for DJ purposes, it does come in white, where the Bose does not. So it looks kind of nice, especially when some of the DJs get a pair of them, two Maui5 Goes, one on each side of their DJ table in white. It looks pretty nice for weddings. We're gonna do our max sound check right now. The tune is a tune that I created from GarageBand, so there's no copyright problem. It's my original tune. I'm using a sound decibel meter, and we're gonna see what the max dB will be on the Maui5 Go. I've already tested it a couple of times. I've turned up my phone to about 90%, and the Maui5 Go, I played with it until I hit clipping, and then I turned it down a notch. So right now, this is the max dB without clipping. So technically it can go higher, and even with the red light blinking, it still sounds great. And if you were gigging and you need a little more volume, you can go past that clipping light because it is blinking slightly. But just because I care about my equipment, I backed it off. So this is max dB just before clipping. .7. That's pretty good. Sounded great in the home here. Let's talk about the specs. So here it's being sold at Guitar Center for $900. So that is $300 more than the Bose S1Pro. Again, that's user determined. Is it worth the extra $300 for your application? So this shows us that there are 4 3-inch high frequency drivers on top, and you have the 8-inch subwoofer on the bottom that I mentioned. The RMS looks like 400 watts peak. Here's your frequency response. It states it's 50 to 20 hertz. I don't hear that. Again, I mentioned that the high end is slightly recessed compared to the Bose, and the Bose doesn't go up to 20 hertz. So I'm not going to go by that figure. But the 50 hertz at the low end is definite. It's a nice low end. Again, the maximum SPL, 120 dB. It's loud, but I'm not so sure that loud. Again, these tests are done in special rooms at 1 meter, but in real world testing, that would be very hard to get close to 120. Again, in comparison, the Bose is 103 dB. So it is considerable more, no matter how you look at it. The coverage is 120 degrees, which is good. That's about the same as the Bose. That's excellent line array coverage. And then at the bottom it says the battery hours is 20 hours. It's a great battery. Here's the weight of the subwoofer, the subsection on the bottom. Almost 20 pounds, 19.62. It's very manageable. The subwoofer has a nice handle, so it swings easily in the hand. And again, not much heavier than the Bose, which is 15.5 pounds. The total system weight with all the columns is 27 pounds. This says for crowds over 100 people. Again, I'm not so sure of that figure, but the Bose S1Pro is rated at 50 people. So this is double, and I pretty much agree. It's definitely more powerful. This says 200 watts RMS and 800 watts peak. So I stand corrected. I said 400 watts. It's 800 watts peak. Again, 27 pounds, 8-inch woofer, and Bluetooth built in. So to sum up the prices, you have your Bose S1Pro at $600, the Maui5 Go at $900, which is $300 more. And then I just threw this in for $300 more. On top of that, you can get the Bose Pro 8, the new Bose Pro series that came out, for $1,200. But you got to remember that is not battery operated. Just to give you an idea of the prices of the market for these type of units. Getting back to the title of this video, the loudest portable and lightest Bluetooth speaker. So just to review some figures I got from previous video testing, one S1Pro, I topped out about 97.4 dB. Again, that's before clipping, before distortion setting in. I tested two S1Pros together, and I got 103.2 dB. And my latest test, the LD Maui5 Go, got 102.7 dB. So basically, it's approaching exactly where two S1Pros are. So it's considerably louder than one S1Pro. That's for sure. It wins that category, hands down. It's almost 6 dB louder than one S1Pro, which is, to our ears, sounds twice as loud. I believe you need 10 dB greater to be actually twice as loud, but 6 dB sounds to us twice as loud. So that this LD Maui5 Go is approaching that 6 dB figure. So there it is. If you're looking for loudness, the LD Maui5 Go is definitely a winner over the Bose S1Pro, especially if you're outdoors and you need that extra volume. Maybe that's why a lot of the DJs are using this as their mobile rig, because they do a lot of their ceremonies outdoors where it's windy and they need that extra power. On the subject of loud Bluetooth speakers, battery powered, I have to mention the Soundbox 3, listed on Amazon for $1,000, so it's only $100 more than the Maui 5. Considerably louder at 126 dB. Again, I don't own this speaker, I've never tested it, but I'm sure it gets considerably louder than the Maui. But the deal breaker for me is 34 pounds, and then you need a stand. So 34 pounds to hoist up onto a high stand is not really something I want to do. And it's not what I consider ultra portable, lightweight speaker. So pretty much why I didn't even list this as in my title. Another battery powered speaker that's very popular right now, the JBL Party Box 3. I've never personally heard it before, $500 each. You can pair them up wirelessly to make a pair. But again, the same story, 35 pounds, very heavy for a portable speaker. It does have 1/4-inch input for microphone and guitar, but of all the websites I've been researching, neither one of these speakers have I seen musicians use, and I don't know about DJs for the Soundbox, maybe some people, but that's not something you would want to bring to a wedding. Kind of looks really old school. Okay, a summary. So which is the loudest portable battery Bluetooth speaker available today? Well, again, I've been saying this during the video, it's really up to the user what is your most important feature besides just loud. So the Bose S1Pro, I mentioned it before and I want to emphasize again, it's more of a hi-fi sound. It's a cleaner top end by far when you A/B them side by side. I'm a follower of Acoustic Guitar Forum, not because I play acoustic guitar, but because they do a lot of reviews on portable PAs, which I'm interested in, obviously. And they have many followers who have purchased the Bose S1Pro, and I'm talking about professional musicians, gigging musicians, for their acoustic guitar and vocals. Not so much for the LD Maui5 Go. Matter of fact, very few reviews. So if you're a musician and you're looking for the best quality, cleanest sound, the Bose, hands down, you're just not gonna have the volume. On the other hand, the DJs out there who need the extra volume, for ceremonies, I mentioned outdoors, they would be going for the LD Maui5 Go. Again, DJs who want the white speaker, you can't find that with Bose S1Pro. Bose S1Pro is lighter at 15.5 pounds. The Maui5 Go is still very light. The whole setup is 27 pounds. They're both super portable. They both have great Bluetooth ability, distance. They both have great battery features. But if you need any kind of bass, Maui5 Go, hands down, a huge difference. And I love the fact that it has a control. Many speakers in this price category don't have any separate sub control. So you can dial that up and down. So again, I mentioned if you play any kind of percussion along with acoustic guitar and vocals, this would be probably a factor that you would go for the Maui5 Go. So price-wise, Maui5 Go is $900 compared to $600, $300 more. So that's, again, a determining factor. And the winner is, drum roll please. I hope you heard that drum roll. And the winner is the Maui5 Go for $300 more. If you need the loudest Bluetooth portable speaker at almost double the power of the S1Pro, you have to go to the Maui. If you want to carry two S1Pros, then you'll equal it. But the Maui5 Go is more full range with that 8-inch subwoofer. The Bose S1Pro, you need a subwoofer. With a Maui5 Go, you're pretty good without one. So that's it. Of course, I mentioned the pluses of the Bose S1Pro. If you need those features, then it's definitely number one for you. But if you need the loudest, if you need a little more bass, actually quite a bit more bass than the S1Pro, then the Maui5 Go is your choice. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. My next video, to continue on, I'm going to take a look at that Maui5 Go by itself and add my favorite portable subwoofer, the Sub 1, and see what that combination does. That should be an interesting test. So, hope you're following. I enjoyed making these videos. Later.